Can you imagine a martial art that strikes, cuts human tissue, joints and tendons? A system not born in spotless dojos or polished mats, but forged in the harsh reality of military barracks and dark alleyways of the Philippines. Its name, Pekiti-Tirsia Kali, literally means to cut into pieces at close range. A name that leaves little to the imagination, doesn't it? It's brutally honest. But how did a family secret, jealously guarded for generations, transform into the preferred combat system of elite special forces across 4 continents? How has something so ancient remained so relevant and so lethal today? Stay with me for a moment, and I promise you'll discover the fascinating and sometimes terrifying truth behind this art. Martial might, where warriors live forever. To understand Pekiti-Tirsia Kali, we must travel far back in time, long before Spanish galleons even dreamed of reaching the shores of Panay. We're talking about a legacy that stretches back over 1,500 or even 2,000 years, steeped in ancient warrior traditions and the rich Filipino culture, with traces of Hindu influence and even animistic beliefs that saw spirits in every element of nature. It was on Panay Island, at the end of the 19th century, where the Tortal family safeguarded this ancestral knowledge. When Spanish colonizers, in an attempt to disarm the population, banned the carrying of weapons, the people didn't surrender. What did they do? They pretended to dance. Yes, folk dances with sticks, but each movement, each rhythmic strike, was actually a hidden disarming technique. Every triangular step wasn't just choreography. It was a silent ambush, a way to evade and counterattack. It was a brilliant display of Filipino ingenuity and resistance, a cultural defiance that preserved their identity and fighting skills. This system, a family treasure, was passed down from father to son under a strict oath of secrecy. It was their heritage, their protection. Norberto Tortal kept it alive, then his son Segundino, who passed it to his 5 sons. Among them, Conrado Tortal was chosen to carry on the lineage. In 1897, Conrado began to formalize and structure what would become Pekiti-Tirsia Kali, giving it discipline and methodology. But the world wouldn't know about it until 70 years later, when his grandson, Grand Tuhon Leo Tortal Gaje Jr., the current guardian of the system, decided to share it, first with a few chosen ones, and eventually with the world. Thus was born, or rather revealed, Pekiti-Tirsia Kali, a language of knives, sticks, and fists that never knew the word sport. The very term Kali has deep meaning in Filipino. It connects to concepts of knowledge, joy, and the world itself, and also relates to Kalis, meaning sword or blade. It's not just a fighting system. It's a living piece of Filipino history, a testament to the adaptability and indomitable spirit of its people. In most martial arts, you know, what's the first rule? Keep distance. Create a safe space. In Pekiti-Tirsia Kali, the golden rule is the opposite. The closer you are, the fewer options your opponent has. It's a concept that sounds counterintuitive, but it's brutally effective. They call it getting close to cut, and it's the foundation of everything we do. Why? Because in real combat, especially with blades, distance is a dangerous illusion. A meter can vanish in the blink of an eye. By closing the gap aggressively, you not only deny your opponent space to generate power, but also force him onto the defensive, severely limiting his options to attack or escape. Forget about the choreographed, decorative blocks you see in movies. In Pekiti-Tirsia, every defense is itself an attack. If someone thrusts at you, your hand doesn't just parry. It redirects the threat while your other hand is already striking, cutting, incapacitating. It's simultaneous attack and counterattack. If they push, you move into them, sliding off the line of attack while your weapon seeks a vital target. Picture this. An opponent lunges forward. Your left hand diverts his arm, not to stop it, but to control it, while your right hand, holding a knife, pierces his bicep or neck. 2 movements, yet they feel like one heartbeat, a single, fluid action. This economy of motion, this lethal efficiency, isn't accidental. It was born in the jungles of the Philippines, in an environment where a single hesitation could mean life or death, where opening an artery or having yours opened was decided in a second. And no, this isn't just a philosophy of combat. Pekiti-Tirsia Kali embodies deep Filipino values: respect, compassion, and care. How can an art so deadly carry a philosophy of life, health, and success? Because lethality isn't the goal. It's a tool for survival, to protect what you love. It's a reminder that even in the darkest moments, discipline and understanding reality can lead us to victory, not just in battle, but in life itself. Here's where it gets fascinating. In Pekiti-Tirsia, the tool almost doesn't matter. A kitchen knife, a broomstick, even your empty hands. To us, it's the same. Why? Because the principles of movement and anatomical targets never change. It's about understanding the human body and exploiting its weaknesses, no matter what's in your hand. Depending on the lineage, there are 6 universal cutting angles that cover everything: horizontal, upward diagonal, downward diagonal, vertical, thrust, and reverse cut. Others teach 12. None are random. They're designed to strike the body's most vulnerable zones, from head to limbs, seeking to disable, or if needed, neutralize. Each one is a potential bloodline, a disruption of the system. While your hands and weapon work, your feet draw triangles on the ground. It's not an elegant dance. It's a deadly geometry. These triangular steps constantly move you off the direct line of attack, keeping you safe, while your hips rotate with planetary force, generating devastating power. This mix of triangular motion, symbolic of constellations, and circular flow, symbolic of orbits, creates a movement that is both evasive and destructive. Take the gunting, for example. With 2 short sticks, representing blades, you cross your opponent's forearms. In the instant of impact, with surgical precision, you've broken his wrist and elbow. It's an explosive move, disarming and dismantling in one beat. Then, if your opponent retreats, you apply seguida. You advance relentlessly. If he comes closer, you pivot and cut the groin, ending the fight instantly. The key to Pekiti-Tirsia's lethality isn't memorizing 200 complex techniques. It's mastering a few core principles adaptable to any situation. That's why even after just 6 months of training, a practitioner can be remarkably effective, even deadly, in a narrow hallway or confined space. They don't need a vast repertoire. They need timing, distance, anatomical understanding, and situational awareness. It's a compact, complete survival system, built not for show, but for reality. Here's the beauty of Pekiti-Tirsia. When a 70-centimeter stick becomes a 15-centimeter knife, the principles never change. The angle, the hip rotation, the footwork, everything remains. Only the lethal distance shortens. It's the same choreography, only now the music is deadlier. Training follows a logical and safe progression. We start with sticks. Why? Because they develop speed and reflexes without the risk of killing your partner. It's how you internalize patterns, build muscle memory, and learn to react without thinking. Once you've mastered the stick, we move to rubber knives, simulating the feel and weight of a blade without the edge. Only then, when your reflexes are sharp, do you train with dull steel. The goal isn't to scratch or wound, it's to incapacitate. Cut the muscles that bend the knee, and your opponent collapses. Slice the tendons gripping the knife, and he's disarmed. Sever the nerves that pull a trigger, and he's neutralized. It's about interrupting function, stopping the threat as fast and efficiently as possible. I remember a special operations officer once told me, with a serious look, "I'd rather carry this," he said, pointing to the knife on his belt, "than a gun with 6 bullets. With this I never run out of ammo." Shocking, right? But he was right. In close quarters, or when discretion is key, a knife never jams, never runs dry, and never hesitates. It's a silent, reliable, and devastating tool in the right hands. The story of Pekiti-Tirsia Kali took a decisive turn in 1972 when Grand Tuhon Leo T. Gage Jr. arrived in New York City. His vision was clear: to make the world recognize the richness and effectiveness of Filipino martial arts, and he succeeded. His system soon attracted influential figures like Dan Inosanto, who integrated it into his teachings, and later the Dog Brothers, who popularized it in full-contact fighting. But the ultimate proof of its lethality came when elite units began to adopt it. SWAT teams in Los Angeles, U.S. Navy SEALs, and India's Special Operations Group incorporated it into their training. In the Philippines, Scout Rangers study it as a mandatory discipline, and the Philippine National Police use Pekiti-Tirsia Kali as the foundation of their official combat program. Even in Moscow, riot police train in knife disarms learned from a Manila gym. Why such widespread adoption? Because it works. It works with gloves, with body armor, in a crowded subway or an airplane cabin. It doesn't require a big space or perfect conditions. It's adaptable, reliable, and deadly efficient under pressure. Grand Tuhon Gage even designed specialized programs like the safety baton system and edged weapon awareness/strategic knife defense, helping law enforcement reduce liability and maximize control, teaching them to incapacitate without always killing. It's a system that evolved to stay relevant, practical, and brutally effective in the modern world. Let's be honest, this isn't a martial art just to sweat. Pekiti-Tirsia Kali has never been that. But if you want to understand how real violence works, raw, unpredictable violence, and what it truly takes to survive it, then yes, this is a path. You don't need to be young, athletic, or superhumanly strong. What you do need is to accept a hard truth. The knife doesn't discriminate. It doesn't care about age, gender, or fitness. A sharp blade is a sharp blade. Your first day of training might be eye-opening. You'll probably be handed a red marker and told, "This is red ink." Every mark on your neck, chest, or vital point means you're dead. It's instant, brutal feedback. You'll be forced to move as if your life depended on it, because in that moment, it does. You'll learn to read intentions, feel movement, anticipate. It's not just physical. It's about situational awareness and mental fortitude. You'll learn to stay calm under extreme pressure, make decisions in split seconds, and fight with a ferocity you didn't know you had. It's a mirror that shows you the truth of conflict and gives you the tools to face it. From the secret dances of the Tortal family, which hid lethal techniques under the guise of tradition, to the rigorous drills of the world's most elite forces, Pekiti-Tirsia Kali stands as living proof that efficiency doesn't need to be flashy, just effective. It's an unequaled Filipino legacy, a constant reminder that survival isn't a sport, it's a vital skill. If this journey through the most lethal art of the Philippines has struck a chord with you, share this video. And if you'd like us to explore other combat systems that, like Pekiti-Tirsia Kali, don't know the word competition and focus purely on real-world effectiveness, subscribe. There's still a lot of wisdom written in steel and many lessons in survival yet to be told.